Hello, my name is Matthew with Extraction Tech Solutions. I'm here today with Jason with Meditva. We're going to talk about the patent-pending LBIS 1200. Jason was one of the first customers, well actually was the first customer of Extraction Tech.
I guess you could kind of say it was your inspiration for it.
That's correct.
Matt and I had known each other for almost over 2 years. I moved right when Colorado decided to go for profit. I decided to move out here and actually see what this industry would look like and what the possibilities were. And during that time, I had gotten a chance to meet Matt while he was running a CO2 extractor and had built quite a name for himself as an extraction specialist. So kind of been one of my key resources that I began to speak with and kind of look to knowledge from. And it wasn't too long until after moving to Washington and creating some products and co-collaborating a little bit on a few products that I started making my own oils and stuff. Matt was still working on the CO2 extractors at the time, and I kept explaining to him, he's like, I can get one of these for you, and I'm like, yeah, it's $120,000 and 3-phase power in a warehouse, and I was like, I'm making like Tootsie Rolls and stuff right now, So, but we began a serious conversation about what a low-cost system would be to be able to do, extractions and stuff. And it's kind of fortuitous, I guess you could say in some ways, because almost as much as I bugged him, there came a day when he finally got a phone call from me.
I remember that day oh so well.
Yeah, you might want to. I woke up in morbid shock after having suffered through a 12-can butane fire. And all I can say is it was probably one of the most scary experiences of my life. Never seen a beast like that. You've seen shows like Fire or can't remember what the other one of that, some of those movies were, but until you experience something like that face on, I mean, it's...
And the pictures didn't show it justice. It was definitely
it melted a porcelain toilet.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. So at that point, I was traveling around training people on CO2 extractors. I actually stopped what I was doing to develop this machine so that he would be safe. So from that point, it took me about a week to get a working prototype, and then the prototype was not really that functional. It worked, it just wasn't pretty. So then we decided to fabricate some different things, and got the first unit ready. And Jason actually came out here. I don't know the company, Vape. I resell electronic vaporizers, and he came out here to help me on 420 at the Cannabis Cup here in Denver last year. And so when he came out, I showed him what I got, and he decided that it was time to definitely take that. And so we got everything set up, and I sent him back to Washington with it.
That was kind of fortuitous. It was an amazing moment in our company's time. Meditva, we have a company philosophy, do good, and one of the things we've always wanted to do was build a medical cannabis company that could help patients. And once we got the system and were able to, from blowing tubes, which takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of work, my work capacity almost, was 10 times what it was capable of by myself before. So not only did it allow our company to expand, but it actually allowed us in that year to take on over 20 cancer patients that we were able to provide free medicine to. And one of the things that's really exciting is that was a year ago talking about the very first item that came off and learning all the different types of gases and the properties of how the gases work. And me, being the person I always am, chose to pick the harder gas to want to specialize in. Propane definitely has its unique properties compared to a lot of the other gases that you've become familiar with and have worked with. And boy, did we spend a lot of time on the phone trying to figure out what was going on and with saturation and head pressures and...
Yeah, but with that conversation and the back and forth, it's actually helped us build a better machine. One of the original things that I decided, once Jason told me about what happened, and I built the machine, I actually was just intending on building the machine for him. My partner now in Extraction Tech, Marcus, decided that we could actually help more people because there was other people that have become more common for there to be house fires and hotel fires, and as you saw earlier, there was pictures of different things and articles and clippings. So we decided that nobody was doing it as efficient as we could. We've got our ETL listing, which makes us the only hydrocarbon recovery equipment with an ETL listing. We have a pump that's actually made to recover hydrocarbons, and it's one of a kind. It's actually got its ETL listing too. And some of the things that we've done since, with all the collaboration and working back and forth with Jason, is we've actually made the system better. It's been improved quite a bit. Originally we started out with a heating jacket with electricity, and so I never really cared for that because electricity and hydrocarbons. Yeah, exactly. Well, what made it come to be is I actually found a small recirculating heater, so I was able to put a hot water jacket on the system, and I told Jason about this.
And we had a lot of going back and forth about temperature and how much temperature should be down there upon starting the processes, and learning how to fight the pressures between the systems. But
yeah, and Jason decided he was going to get him a bucket of water and a hot plate and stick the cylinder in there without the hot water, without the electric jacket, of course, but he was like, this works great. So I'm like, man, I can't find a heater that's inexpensive enough, and then I finally found one. So once we put that on there, I mean, that right there took extraction times down, and it had you, helped you temper your material, so it wouldn't get messed up.
Once we realized that you didn't need to fight the pressures and the temperatures, that was a huge gain in time overall.
It was nice, and so that was one of the biggest improvements. So then we moved to the second generation with that, and now we're actually on our third generation. That's one of the reasons he's out here, to look at all the new improvements that we've done.
This system really excites me because, when you're running volume of gas, one thing that happens over time is, since I specialize in propane looks a lot like CO2. It's bright orange or pink. But what will happen is, over time, running it multiple times, it can lose its color. Especially if some of the trim you've run has been a darker trim. And we found out over time that oil has been going back into the bottle and tainting, the overall gas. So now you've, I believe, made some improvements that are going to cure that from ever happening again.
Yep.
Increase the longevity of the gas.
One of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest flaws in the machine was the fact that the recovery pump is they kept breaking. The compressors started going out of them because people were overfilling them.
So, being a person who uses propane a lot, one of the problems that we kept having is, after time, our tanks would become dark, so our propane product would go from looking like a beautiful orange, reddish CO2 color to a darker brown, not quite butane, but, getting closer into the butane. And it's taken a long time going back and forth, but you actually have finally figured out the solution so that now the tank longevity will last longer and remain more pure?
Correct. So in the machine, you recover all of the solvent you're using. But in recovering that, what was happening is we didn't quite know exactly how much gas we needed to use, and so we established now it's 4.5 pounds. But what would happen is, once it drops into the separator, it would kind of froth back up and then start pulling some back into the recovery pump, and then from that into the bottle. And so it'd puddle at the bottom of the bottle. It actually wasn't until I did a lobster shell extraction that I established that was the case, because as you can imagine, it's putrescent smelling. And so, I didn't see anything going over, but when the next time I did a run as a demo for somebody, and I created lobster wax, and although it sounds cool, it wasn't very cool. I decided that, I'm pulling more over than just low volatile terpenes. So at that point, I decided to put an expansion filter in. And so the expansion filter has got a heated jacket on it too. So the hot water recirculates through it also. And what it does is it stops makes stuff fall out and stops anything from coming back into the care saver, which then at that point stops the recovery pump from getting damaged, the compressors, and having to rebuild them.
No, seriously, but I mean, the fact that you've created this, what is it called again?
Expansion filter.
Expansion filter.
Because the whole point is the gas goes in.
Right.
Because that's another thing that helps gas. So in doing this expansion filter, one of the byproducts of, other than just cleaning it off, so I use mixed gas. I know he likes to use propane, but in using mixed gas, it was recovery time of about 45 minutes. Now I've shaved 15 minutes off. And so the reason is because the gas comes in through, a 1/4-inch hose and then expands into a 2-inch volume that's heated, so that allows it to be reuptaked quicker. So it was a nice byproduct of the trying to filter the gas. And one of the things that we're going to work on is actually packing the column with different kind of filtering mediums to see if we can actually clean the gas, pure.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with air gas, you're looking at anywhere from 300 to 500 a tank, depending on what you're using. So
correct.
And a lot of times, I've just from being such a obsessive compulsive about the quality of the product. I mean, I've gone through a tank a month just to make sure it keeps its color and clarity. So
yeah,
you're talking about a major cost saver, and I think I've been through 3 Care Saver pumps now or so, right in that range. So definitely the ability to have that. You've done a lot to just save money, time, and long-term investment costs too. It's quite come a long way.
Yeah. So right now with being able to do a kilo of material in about an hour, and being able to have the more control than anything else out there. I can control temperature. I can control, when I want to pull it, how I want it to look, oil, whatever. As long as you know your techniques, you can definitely do it with this machine, and you can do it a lot safer.
And one of the things I want to say is, why is Meditva here helping promote and sell a machine when this is what we do ourselves? Because we truly believe that this machine sets a standard for not only safety, but quality control. And the methods that you learn upon getting these machines and the types of extracts, the gases you have to use to go into it are of a higher quality than what's being blown out of most people's porches. And we're happy and excited to see more of these make it into the medical market, so that at least we know there's better, pure medicines being out there too. So that's something we're passionate about, and something we're grateful that you brought us such a long ways to be able to do such a thing.
Well, see, that's another misnomer that a lot of people have is it's like, hydrocarbons, they're bad. Butane and propane and, all that stuff. So that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. We use pure gas, so it's CP grade, so it means chemically pure. We don't use he's not using the propane that comes from the hardware store that goes in your gas grill, because that has sulfites and mercaptans in it for the smell. This gas is pure, and if you look up the FDA GARS list, which is generally recognized as safe, it lists butane, propane, and isobutane all on the list, and they're recognized as safe. If you understand that it's in propane's in PAM cooking spray as a propellant, you'll have more exposure to propane lighting a cigarette or anything with a lighter than you ever will come in contact with a machine like this. The issue comes from the cans. So the cans you buy from the store, whether it's Vector or what are the other ones? Power 5 or any of these, and they're all quadruple billion filtered. So the gas itself, yes, it was filtered, and at one point it was pure. The problem is inside those cans, you have small fractions of rust and heavy metals, and you also have machine lubricating oils in there, so that when you put it into your lighter, it actually lubricates the jet ports so they don't clog. And so once you turn that can upside down and you start running it, that's going to stay in your extract. And I've seen a lot of kids that are twitchy after using too much stuff, and I'm not going to lie, I originally thought it was from the gas, but after looking at it and doing assays on the extracts and totally coming down to understand what's going on, it's the machine oils and the heavy metals. If you look at Power 5, it's one of the ones that people use a lot because it's less expensive. And although it is definitely better than Home Depot brand, it's still made in Korea. All right, so
I've cut one of those open and actually looked on the inside. It's not very good.
Exactly. So why would you want to put that?
There's a thick gelatinous material on it that coats the inside of those cans. For fact, any of you guys blowing cans, Power 5X, King, take the time when you're done blowing it, and then pop a knife in there and crack it open. And
obviously, we want to do that outside.
Outside, of course. But my point being is you're going to learn that all of these constituents that you said, you can put your finger in there and feel them. And feel them come off. Some of them you can even see it caked in there to an extent.
Yeah, or you can see rust spots in the weld, or you can see metal flakes from the inside. There could be typhoid from the factory in Korea. The dust that's set there.
That's crazy because as Meditva, we're a patient-driven company, and our main concern has been about taking care of patients and making sure there's quality medicine. And the things you're talking about right there, these types of home-brewed systems are effectively not just they're actually killing the people and making them worse by adding in these chemicals into their systems. So, I mean, the standardization has to be put in place of some sort for the processing and production of these extracts, you know.
And we don't want an overall ban. I mean, it's like...
It's true medicine.
Yeah, it's true medicine. The extract, all the solvent's gone, and then there's no byproducts that we've got, you know, because we don't use any kind of oils or anything like that. I mean, one of the things you got to understand is soybean oil and peanut oil are all made with hexane. Okay, and hexane's definitely some funky stuff, but doing after processes and making sure that it's clean before it goes to the market, it's a very, you know, it happens in a lot of the things we use. And so with this machine, this is the first step to making sure you don't have any harmful contaminants by using the correct gas. I don't know if you can tell, but I haven't set it up any way to hook to a can, nor will I ever let anybody do it. For that reason, if people want to do that, then I tell them, you know, my system's not for them.
I mean, I think we covered it, man. It's been an amazing experience getting to come out here again after a year, and almost to the date, not too far from it.
That's true.
And, you know, see where things are at. And, you know, we ourselves have been using this machine. We just won the Washington first ever Concentrates Cup, so it's been quite an honor, not just and I, you know, thanks to my mentor here in a lot of ways, I would have never known about propane, let alone the use of how to use propane in a machine like this, and now we've been able to nationally expose it as another extraction material that's of a very high purity and good quality grade, something I definitely feel comfortable giving to a cancer or sick patient, knowing that it's fully purified. And I wouldn't have had these abilities or resources or knowledge had it not been for Matt here. So,
well, you can also,
I think,
you can also check out that video on our Facebook and his Facebook. It was definitely a very eye-opening experience being able to, because you got to understand it's an oil. So everybody wanted wax and wants shatter and all that, and he actually won the concentrate cup with an oil because it is pure and it is clean.
All right, well, thanks for having me here, and I mean, I can't wait till next year.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to send you home with a new one and get the productions and so you can fully understand all the new tweaks that we've done. And hopefully, I feel that I've gotten as far as it needs to. It's got everything that I wanted on it, but you know, you never know. There could be changes to come.
And I will look forward to them. I'm sure all of you will too. Have a good one.
All right, take care.